If you've been to previous concerts, you know at about this time, I tell you stories of heroism, of courage, of selflessness, of the men and women of the armed forces of this country, of founders, of framers, and of significant events in the history of the Republic. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. Few men and women in the armed forces of this country, and fewer still civilians, have ever heard from anybody who was not a citizen at the time as to the impact the men and women of the armed forces of this country have had on their lives, materially and positively. Tonight you're going to get that opportunity. He is the founder, president, and artistic director of Caddis Incorporated, a branding and marketing relations firm out of Prescott, Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kwong Nguyen.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for bringing me out here all the way from the state of Arizona. But 39 years ago, if you had asked me, I'd be standing up here speaking to you in English. It'd be a miracle. But to make a long story short, 39 years ago, I left the country of Vietnam, and I was born in 1962 in the earlier stage of the war. And I had no idea what freedom meant to me. As a matter of fact, all the adults in my family fought bravely alongside Americans to gain whatever little freedom we had. And it's kind of interesting, I use the word freedom a lot, but at the time I had no idea what it meant until I stepped foot on what I would call the greatest nation on earth. And as I travel around the nation to speak to students, high school, college, I get one or two, kind of funny questions. And so one of them will be like, and I'll give you this example. What was it like to be occupied by American forces in your country? How did you feel about it? So I'm always forced to redefine the word occupation. When we lived under the ruling of the Chinese for 1,000 years, that would be occupation. When we lived under the rule of the French for over 100 years, ladies and gentlemen, that would be occupation. When we live under the rules of the Japanese during World War II, that would be occupation. But when men and women travel 12,000 miles to nowhere, out in the rice paddies to fight alongside you, ladies and gentlemen, that is not occupation. Because of the generosity of America and her citizens and the men and women who served my old nation, I am now blessed to have the family that I have today. 2 weeks ago, I finally made it to the Vietnam Wall in Washington, D.C. I finally had the courage to say a prayer and thank those 58,000 names plus engraved on the black wall. They and their friends, over 2 million, served in my country, afforded me this opportunity to stand in front of you and speak tonight. And that particular experience made an extremely profound impact on me. I just want you to know that. Today, I am an American, and I don't mean to hurt anybody's feeling, but I am an American without a prefix.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
And I have learned much in the 39 years that I've been here. A lot in 39 years. America, you taught me that this is not a place on the map, that this is an ideal and this is a way of life that we must preserve. You taught me to work hard like all of the people that came before me. You taught me to give a hand and not necessarily so much take a hand. You taught me that freedom isn't free, it is paid for by blood. You taught me that citizenship is to be earned, not to have it just because you're here. And finally, you also taught me freedom isn't the same as free stuff. And to all those who defend this nation and those who are still in harm's way, I thank you. I will always be grateful for your sacrifice. To all those serving my nation, you are my founders. If you serve in uniform, in this nation, in uniform, military, police, and emergency service, firefighters, would you please stand for me? Please do me a big favor and please stand. If you're a doctor or a nurse, please stand. And on behalf of all immigrants, I thank you for your service. Happy Independence Day. God bless you all and God bless America. Thank you for having me.
As you sit here listening to this wonderful music by these talented musicians in this extraordinary place, remember your freedoms and your liberties. Remember the nearly 50 million men and women who have served in the armed forces of this nation since the founding of the Republic, because they are the ones who bought and paid for every one of those freedoms and liberties at the outset, defended them against later assault, or stood watch over them while the rest of us went about our lives. And remember where you are. This place of ultimate honor, this place where the cost of freedom and liberty cannot be denied.